Hi, Guardians of the Galaxy lovers. I'm Skip Haynes.
And I'm Arthur Belkind. And as promised, we're back here to tell you about the making of the song Lakeshore Drive. You wrote it.
So after I wrote the song, the next night I went into the club, and before the band went on, I asked Arthur to come up to the stage, and I played Lakeshore Drive for him. That was the only time I intended that song to be played or heard.
And I heard it, and I just loved it. It was so upbeat, and just going back to those times, these were very turbulent times in Chicago, very turbulent times in the country. Dr. King had been assassinated. Bobby Kennedy had been assassinated. The Vietnam War was creating a lot of protests. There were a lot of groups marching. It was a very, very disturbing time. And I thought that this song was just perfect. It was such an up. The country needed it. Chicago needed it. So I was going to fight and do everything I could to make sure that people heard this song.
The only problem was I didn't like it, and the band didn't like it, and we didn't want to perform it. We thought, why? There's 10,000 people live on Lakeshore Drive. Whether we're going to sell 4 records, and we just didn't want to do it. After a bit of time, Jeremiah, our piano player, disappeared for 2 days, which was which was his want.
Yeah, that was a short time.
Yeah, Jeremiah disappeared for 2 days, and when he came back, what he told us, he had spent 2 days drinking Pivo. For those of you who don't know what Pivo is beer that's frozen almost to slush. It's a staple in southern Illinois, where John's came from, and White Crosses. White Crosses were extremely bad methadone tablets that truck drivers took. Sometimes nothing would happen. Sometimes they take you to the hospital. You never could tell. So John got together with Pivo and White Crosses and created this incredible piano part. He came back and played it for us, and we liked the part so much that we started performing the song, just to listen to John play the piano.
And the more they performed it, the more people came into the club. And I mean, it was packed every night for weeks. So we said, we've got something going on here. And I think that's when you went we wanted to do a demo, and then you went to Freddie's?
Yeah, we wanted to do a demo. We didn't have any money, and we did do a lot of drugs, I have to say that. And in our dressing room, it was like drug dealers, groupies, etc. That was the order.
And some of the drug dealers were groupies, and some of the...
So I went to a very good friend of mine who happened to be a purveyor of illicit...
he was, let's say, an unlicensed pharmaceutical salesperson.
Exactly. And I was telling him, I said, hey, Fred, I wrote this song. He was an old friend of mine. Fred, I wrote this song, and we're starting to play it, and everybody says you should record it, but you don't have enough money. And he says, go over to the bookshelf. See that pair of tennis shoes on the bookshelf? And I went, yeah. He says, go over there. And I looked inside, and there was $1,784 in cash in this tennis shoe. He says, take it, man, and record the song. I said, but Fred, I don't know if this song's... He said, I like the band. I like the stuff you're doing. Go ahead and do it. And went back to Arthur and said, I got the money for the session. Right. And we had the session at 2120 South Michigan Avenue in a little 8-track studio. And we recorded the song. And then we took it directly to
Tom Bookie, the money guy. We went to Sandburg Village, is where he lived in Chicago.
Sandburg Terrace.
Sandburg Terrace.
Green. Yeah. I always get them mixed up.
It's a bit of a difference. It's like Rats on Up to Riches.
Uh-huh.
And Tom loved the song and decided that he would back it financially. And we went into the studio to record it, which is going to be what we're going to tell you about next time, the most incredible recording session in history.
And we didn't even know it.